They are smart, they are beautiful, they are deceiving, and they are fatal. Let's lay the super spy ass kicking of Sam Fisher aside for a while, cause this Splinter Cell fan video is gonna be all about the ladies. With all that sneaking around in the shadows, stopping wars and saving the world from terrorists he has on his agenda, Mr. Fisher never really has much time for a little female affection, if you know what I mean. Heck, he barely even has any time for his own daughter, with whom he communicates by phone through most of the series. But nevertheless, the game is marked by some very influential female characters that make a crucial impact not only on the emotional state of our main protagonist, but even on the outcome of the gameplay and storyline itself. That's why in this video we are going to dig deeper in the more gentle side of the Splinter Cell franchise. Hold your horses, Anita Sarkeesian, cause I didn't mean that in a shake that pretty little helpless ass so I can slap it with my sexist / misogynistic manliness kinda way. Slightly awkward ideology, mocking humor to the side, these are the women of Splinter Cell. Gentle? Right. We start off with a role that you might not even remember at first unless you recall the Jerusalem mission from Pandora Tomorrow. The name of the nut-cracking lady in black you just saw in action is Dalia Tall. Even though she appeared only once in the game, she marked a very important moment in the Splinter Cell series. Tall was an undercover agent of Shin Bet who had infiltrated a Syrian terrorist group known as Grasp of the Corpse. In the mentioned mission in Jerusalem, Tall led Fisher to an underground research facility where he obtained a sample of a biological weapon that was intended for attack on the United States. After following her to the site, Fisher gets in an elevator, and that's when things get really interesting. Following what seemed to be a casual goodbye conversation, Fisher receives orders from his boss, Irvin Lambert, to kill the double agent. Whether Fisher shoots Dalia or not is entirely up to the player, as this was the first major player's choice moment of the series where each decision affected the mission differently. The big question at the time was why? Why did Lambert order his best agent to liquidate a unarmed woman who just helped him out a great deal? If the player chooses to follow orders and kills Tall, the question remains a mystery. Following this decision, at the end of the mission, Fisher asks Lambert why he had to kill her. Lambert only says, "Not yet," at which point the subject is not brought up again for the rest of the game. The mystery can only be explained after replaying the level and making the opposite choice. If the player decides not to kill Dalia, it is quickly revealed that Shin Bet had double-crossed the Third Echelon and intended to kill Fisher after he retrieved the biological weapon from the terrorists. The Israeli government intended to steal the viral weapon for themselves, and since Fisher doesn't officially exist, there would be no repercussions for killing him. After Fisher exited the underground facility, Dalia Tall and her snipers were waiting for him to exit the facility before attempting to kill him. So how's that for a start of a gentle side of Splinter Cell? After Dalia, we continue with another relatively mysterious woman from the Splinter Cell franchise. Frances Cohen was a Third Echelon field runner stationed in East Asia, mainly in Japan. She was Fisher's main field runner following the death of his previous field runner, Vernon Wilkes, who was killed in a shootout with Russian mercenaries at the end of the Kalinatek level of the first Splinter Cell installment. Cohen's primary duties involved delivering Fisher into missions as well as extracting him after the mission was complete, during which she would demonstrate remarkable driving skills. The mystery around this woman lies in the lack of information on what happened to her after the Third Echelon conspiracy of conviction. She appears only in the first two games, never to be seen again after Pandora Tomorrow, and was only mentioned once in the bathhouse mission of Chaos Theory. Cohen is possibly the only lesbian character in the entire Splinter Cell series, and easily the only homosexual person. In Pandora Tomorrow, outside of the TV station in Jakarta, Indonesia, Fisher states that he gets the feeling that she doesn't like women, to which she responds, "Like isn't the world, but don't ask me about it, and I won't tell you." This may be a reference to the former don't ask, don't tell policy of the Clinton administration, which prohibited military personnel from discriminating against or harassing closeted homosexual or bisexual service members. Patricia Cal Well is the first female president of the United States of America. That is, according to the world of Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. President Cal Well's belief that Third Echelon had outlived its usefulness, and her refusal to cooperate with Megiddo made her a target of Third Echelon director and Megiddo Mo Tom Reed. He plotted to have her assassinated and succeeded by her vice president Calvin Sampson by staging a terrorist attack on Washington, D.C. with stolen Russian EMP technology and using the downtime to storm the White House. When Reed learns that Sam Fisher knew of the conspiracy, he adapted his plan to involve framing Sam for the assassination and then having Sam shot to death as he attempted to flee. This plot was ultimately foiled by Sam with the help of Anna Grimm's daughter, who was acting as a mole inside Third Echelon for President Cal Well. Just before Reed was killed, U.S. Army soldiers retook control of the White House, rescuing the president and asking Sam to lower his weapon aimed at Reed. President Cal Well, however, told the soldiers to pretend that they didn't see. In the plot of Blacklist, Cal Well was re-elected and shut down Third Echelon, deeming it a major threat to Americans, only to promptly establish Fourth Echelon with Sam Fisher in charge. Before the epilogue of Blacklist, Cal Well broke the U.S. policy on not negotiating with terrorists after being captured by the main antagonist Majid Sadiq. She ordered the Fourth Echelon team to stand down, but Fisher overruled her and saved the day. Through the Splinter Cell series, Sam Fisher had the opportunity to work with a few very attractive and interesting women, but was almost never romantically involved with any of them. Did I say almost never? Meet Enrica Villablanca. Villablanca was the medical doctor and weapons expert of the infamous John Brown's Army, a United States terrorist group who appeared in Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Double Agent. She and Fisher met when the famous Splinter Cell infiltrated the terrorist group as a double agent who gained the trust of a JBA member named Jamie Washington by helping him escape from Ellsworth Prison in Kansas. Enrica's life story could be phrased like this: college rebel, tragically gone terrorist. She was a straight-A student and was awarded with a scholarship to the University of Florida in engineering, where she would later be accepted into a PhD program in chemical engineering. Being active in campus environmental groups, including ones that participated in acts of vandalism, she was involved in a monkey-wrenching incident at a chemical plant in Florida, which resulted in her going underground, only to surface as a JBA member in 2006. After Fisher came to the organization, the two quickly developed a physical relationship that didn't really have much of a background story. After a few occasions of scripted flirting, in one level the player can actually engage Fisher in a kiss with Enrica, which marks the first and only kiss in the entire Splinter Cell series. Even though she was a member of a terrorist group, Enrica was never actually presented as a villain. She worked with Fisher during a cruise ship mission in which Fisher's assignment was to plant a bomb to test its effectiveness. Later on, the top JBA members gathered in front of a television screen to watch the satellite video of the cruise ship being blown up by the device. At this point, the player has three options: to prevent the attack by jamming the signal, to jam the signal and frame Enrica, or to let the bomb activate. The decision that the player makes not only influences the level of trust Fisher gains or loses either from Third Echelon or JBA, but also writes the fate of his dark-haired lover. Going with the first two options result in the death of Enrica, who gets shot to death by enraged JBA leader Emile Dufresne. If Sam lets the bomb explode, he will earn a disingenuous "nice work, Sam" from Enrica, who obviously took no pleasure in the act. At the end of the game, she will help Sam to stop the organization. However, conviction writer Richard Dansky confirmed that disarming the bomb and framing Enrica is the canon choice, which means that she did indeed die after the cruise ship mission. It is never really clear if Fisher had any true emotions for Enrica, or if he was just using her in a sort of James Bond side spy action kind of fashion, as he shows no remorse nor does he ever comment on her afterwards. From a gamer and fan point of view, the short life story of Enrica Villablanca remains one of the true tragedies of the franchise. And now for the only woman that the talented Mr. Fisher ever showed true emotions of love for throughout the whole Splinter Cell series, his only daughter, Sarah. As developer Clint Hawking stated, Sarah Fisher was originally created to make Sam feel more human. As it turns out, indeed, that was the only role of this character through the whole series. Despite the distant but steady relationship that they have due to Sam's line of work, it is very obvious that he loves her dearly and that she truly is all he has in life. Sarah was born on May 31st, 1985 on a US military base in Frankfurt, Germany, where her father was deployed as a diplomatic aide. Her parents separated after 3 years of marriage. Her mother Reagan went back to the United States and took Sarah with her. When Sarah was 15, her mother died of cancer, after which Sam became her legal guardian. As it is known through the Tom Clancy's novels, Sarah's childhood was marked by many tough times with her father, especially when he went on his missions. She was not always aware what kind of work he did, but she knew it was government related. She eventually became aware of her father's work, which helped her to stop blaming him for always being away. It is known that Sarah was kidnapped on 2 occasions and even had one faked death. Thinking that his only child is really dead, Fisher fell into a state of deep depression, because of which he took on the most dangerous mission of his career, taking down the infamous John Brown's army. Official death records stated that Sarah was killed when she was hit by a drunk driver while her father was away on a mission in Iceland. It would be revealed in conviction that her death was actually staged by Fisher's boss, the man in charge of Third Echelon, Irvin Lambert. Lambert had learned a mole in Third Echelon who he believed was going to kidnap Sarah and use her as leverage against Sam. In order to prevent this, he made the tough choice to separate the two and tell each other that the other was dead. Sam finds out about this in the plot of the same game and makes it his mission to reunite with his daughter, which eventually happened. As the daughter of Sam Fisher, Sarah may be the princess of Splinter Cell, but not the queen. That title is reserved for another. Finally, we present the alpha female of the franchise, the woman that makes it all possible, the Ice Queen and voice in Fisher's head, Anna Grimsdottir. Anna Grimsdottir, referred to as Grimm by her colleagues, is the technical operations officer for Fourth Echelon. Initially, Grimm was communications leader and later chief technical analyst for Third Echelon. Being a highly skilled programmer and hacker, her job was to provide Fisher with technical support while he is in the field. Through the Splinter Cell series, the nature of their relationship varied from strictly professional to relatively friendly. Though their history with one another in Third Echelon proved to be a source of tension between the two, Sam and Grimm carry a mutual respect for one another. Even though Fisher is presented as the character with arguably the highest intellectual and psychological characteristics, it is also an arguable statement that Grimm is actually much more intelligent than him, as she did manage to manipulate him and situations around him in more than one occasion. The epilogue of Conviction was kind of a result of Grimm's manipulation over Fisher and the main antagonist of the installment, Tom Reed, as the double game she was playing did end with her and Fisher stopping Reed in his plan to assassinate the President of the United States. Later in Blacklist, Grimm will continue to influence Sam's actions by controlling certain information. In one occasion, their plane gets hit by a computer virus that got through because of a mistake made by the young Charlie Cole. Cole admits his mistake to Grimm and intends to come clean with Sam as well, but is stopped by Grimm, who knew that Sam would kick him out of Fourth Echelon and weaken the team despite the fact that Cole did make almost a fatal mistake. Grimm also demonstrates that she is highly proficient in combat as well by displaying Fisher's mark and execute skills at the end of Conviction. Another interesting thing about Grimsdottir is her metamorphosis through the Splinter Cell series, where she went from being a not-so-attractive, nerdy operative to a smoking hot bombshell, which didn't go unnoticed in the mystic world of gamers, who definitely have great expectations for the development of this character in the future. You were watching a Channel Hot Monkey video, and these were the women of Splinter Cell. If you made it to this point, why not share your thoughts in the comments? If you liked the video, please hit that like button, and if you didn't, well, do what you gotta do. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome Splinter Cell fan content in the future, and I will surely strive to make it up to you. Thanks for watching, people. This is my cue to sign off.